Hi friends, it's Spooky Saturday. Let's see if we can talk about the Cascade Mountains glitch in under 3 minutes. This is from Reddit user JackSprat90. I've always loved the outdoors, and I was fortunate enough to be born in the Pacific Northwest and the western Washington Cascades to be exact. My father and I spent much of my early years exploring the mountains, fishing, and hunting, and there are parts of the Cascades that I know like the back of my hand. One of these places is called Goblin Creek off Highway 2, and basically the two of them would go there, gather a bunch of rocks that they would sell in town for a nice profit. The road from the creek where we harvested these rocks to the dirt road wasn't particularly long, but lengthy enough that you could presumably get lost if you didn't know where you were going. In the time that we spent there at this creek, I'd only seen two other people there. One was a game warden, and the other one is the subject of my curiosity. When I was 14, I distinctly remember hauling a backpack full of these rocks up from the creek to my dad's truck. Along the way, I ran into a man who looked like he was about 30 years old. We both appeared to be surprised that we would run into anyone in this remote stretch of the mountains. But as I got closer to this man, he was headed down and I was heading up the creek. He seemed to grow increasingly more startled, as if he were seeing a ghost. He didn't say anything as he passed. He just seemingly stared at me, trying to figure out words to say to ask me a question, but said nothing. After I passed him, I could remember how much this guy could look like he could be in my family. The similarities were striking. As I continued to the truck, I dumped my rocks off. I asked my dad if he'd seen anyone, but he didn't. And I've remembered this encounter quite vividly since then. Last year, I was visiting my family in Snohomish and I decided to head up to Goblin Creek for nostalgia purposes. It had been about 15 years since I was last up there. I found the dirt road and parked where my dad used to park and proceeded to walk through the woods down to the creek. Along the way, I saw something that absolutely shook me to the core. As I was about halfway through the woods, I was startled to see someone else coming from the creek, a boy about 14 years old. He was wearing a backpack that looked to be burdened down by heavy weights, and as I got closer, I began to get increasingly confused and shocked as the boy looked exactly like I did at this age. I meant to say something to him as he passed, but I could not figure out the right words to express what I was thinking at that moment. He passed me and kept going, and I walked a little ways and finally stopped when it really hit me. I remembered the encounter from my teenage years and realized that I had just lived the other half of this experience. Both the man and the boy were me, 15 years removed. I turned around to catch up with the boy through the thick Washington woods. I ran all the way back up to the truck and I could find nothing. There wasn't anywhere else besides the road for him to go. I hadn't stalled so long that I wouldn't be able to catch up with him, but he was simply gone. Curiosity got the best of me and I hurried back down the creek, half expecting to find my dad fishing at the bank 15 years younger, but there was nobody there. I ended up going home and deciding this experience was too unbelievable to even tell my friends and family. I just wanted to get this into the wonderful Reddit community to see what others think.
I think that's crazy.
That's what I think. That's nuts.